Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 3 and we're gonna go to presentate about describing language part 1. Okay, our member are Naulia Nurfadilah, Pelangi Auralea Andalsya, and Rima Chantika. Let's check it out. Describing language. Describing language is the way in which the language system is broken down and described for the purposes of learning. There are 6 stages of development of language description. In this video, we will discuss the languages based on traditional grammar, structural linguistics, and transformational generative grammar. The first is traditional grammar or classical grammar. Traditional grammar is a framework for the description of the structure of a language. And traditional grammars may be constructed with more modern theories of grammar in theoretical linguistics, which grew out of a traditional description. Traditional grammar is often perspective and may be regarded as unscientific by those working in linguistics. Traditional grammars generally classify words into parts of speech. They describe the pattern of word inflection and the rules of syntax by which those words are combined into sentences. The parts of speech. Although systems vary somewhat, typically traditional grammar name each part of speech. Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. These groupings are based on categories of function and meaning in Latin and other Indo-European languages. The traditional definition of part of speech refers to the role that a word plays in a sentence, its meaning, or both. Inflection. Inflection, also known as accidents, is the change of words form depending on its grammatical function. The change may involve the addition of affixes or else change in the sounds of the word, known as vowel gradation or ablaut. Syntax. Syntax is the set of rules governing how words combine into phrases and clauses. It deals with the formation of sentences, including a rule governing or describing how sentences are formed. In traditional usage, syntax is sometimes called grammar. But word grammar is also used more broadly to refer to various aspects of language and its usage.
Second, structural linguistics is defined as a study of language based on the theory that language is a structured system of formal units such as sentences and syntax. Structural linguistics involves collecting a corpus of utterances and then attempting to classify all of the different linguistic levels, such as elements of the corpus at the phonemes, morphemes, lexical categories, noun phrases, verb phrases, and sentence types. In the United States, Leonard Bloomfield, an American linguist, led the development of structural linguistics. Bloomfield's approach to linguistics was characterized by its emphasis on the scientific basis of linguistics, adherence to behaviorism, especially in his later work, and emphasis on formal procedures for the analysis of linguistic data. Bloomfield said that the first real challenge to the classical description of the language is in 1930 with the advent of structuralism. According to Hutchison and Waters, structural or slot and filler forms language description will be familiar to most language teachers as a result of the enormous influence it has had on language teaching since the Second World War. In structural description, the grammar of the language is described in terms of syntagmatic structures, which carry the fundamental proposition, such as statement, interrogative, negative, imperative, etc., and notions such as time, number, gender, etc. By varying the words within these structural frameworks, or substitution table, sentence with different meaning can be generated. Apart from the use of substitution table, the most enduring application of structural linguistics was the structural syllabus, an example of ESP syllabus based on structural precepts, either and later. Minor details omitted. First, simple present active. Second, simple present passive. Third, simple present active and passive. Fourth, ing forms. Fifth, present perfect and present continuous. Sixth, infinitives. Seventh, anomalous finite. And last, past perfect and conditionals.
Third, transformational generative grammar. Transformational generative grammar was advocated by Noam Chomsky in Synthetic Structures in 1957. In theoretical linguistics, it is a type of generative grammar. Chomsky concluded that problems in structural linguistics arose because language, being analyzed and described in isolation from the human mind which produced it. Describing the language must be viewed as a reflection of human thought patterns. He proposed two levels of meaning: a deep level or deep structure, which is concerned with the organization of thoughts, and surface level or surface structure, where the thoughts are expressed thought syntax of the language. The first is the deep structure. The deep structure is an abstract level of structural organization, is which all the elements determining structural interpretation are represented. The deep structure is that beneath every sentence in the mind of a speaker is an invisible and inaudible. It is the organization of thought which is also called competence. They are sentences that have alternative interpretation. Four important properties of deep structure are: the first, major grammatical relations such as subject of and object of are defined at deep structure. 2. All lexical uncertainty occurs at deep structure. 3. All transformation occur after deep structure. 4. Semantic interpretation occurs at deep structure. The second level is the surface structures, is how the sentence is actually represented. It is something what is pronounced and heard. Surface structure is the expression of thoughts, which is also called performance. Hutchison and Waters in 2010 wrote example of the difference between surface structure and deep structures below. Example 1. John is easy to please. 2. John is eager to please. According to structural description, indicate the same relationship between the words in the sentence. But obviously the relationship is not the same. In the first sentence, John is the receiving of pleasing, while in the second, he is doing the pleasing. We can say that the surface structure or forms are identical, but the deep surface is different. Similarly, the identity of meaning between an active and passive sentence would not be shown. Example 1. The Citibank has taken over Acme Holdings. 2. Acme Holdings has been taken over by Citibank. The relationship of meaning within the two sentences is identical, but structurally they are different. In these two sentences, we can say that the surface structure is different, but the deep structure is identical. The study of language is in use, therefore, should look not just at syntax, but also at the other ingredients of communication, such as nonverbal communication, like a gesture, posture, eye contact, etc. The medium and channel of communication, role relationship between the participant, the topic and purpose of communication. For ESP, Chomsky performance competence is important. We need to cover more than just syntax. Competence is equal to deep level rules, as it is said above. Understanding new words, guessing their meaning, is related to competence. This competence includes pragmatics. Language, in other words, can also be looked at from the point of view of function, that is, what people do with it. But it only becomes an important movement in linguistics with the development the concept of communicative competence.
Okay, this is the last from our group, and the next stage of development of language description will be discussed in the next video. Okay, thank you.